Okay, I think we have everybody here, so we can start. I'll do a roll call. And excuse me if I butcher your names, sorry. Some of your names I don't recognize or have never met you, so. I'm gonna start with call to order, and then I'm gonna do the roll call. Teresa Meshes.
Here.
John Reinert.
Here.
Carl Comiskey.
Present.
Larry Smith.
Here.
Tracy Van Bergen.
Here.
And I'm here for the board members. Okay, I'm gonna go down here, Village of Cary, Mark
Kounick.
Kalnick, okay. And Crystal Lake.
I'm gonna let you say it.
Tell me how I pronounce your name.
I'm not.
I
Butcher it.
Hag Halbley.
You butchered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do I say your name?
Actually, I say it, Haig Haleblian.
That's not right.
I'll just call you Joe. Okay, Wayne Jett.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's Jett, J-E-T-T. Okay.
Mark Eisenberg.
Here.
Okay, Tim Huff.
Present.
Mike Turner.
Here.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to allow Mike Turner to
To join remotely?
Teresa Meshes to attend remotely, and Tracy Van Bergen seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so okay, we'll call the meeting to order. So I'm gonna, there's some alternates here, and can you guys each announce your names so I can mark you down who we have? Let's start here.
City McHenry, Ross Polrick.
Okay,
Kayla Noonan, Village of Cary.
okay,
Abby Wilgreen, City of Crystal Lake.
great,
Chris Teed, City of Woodstock.
okay,
Scott Hayjack, Village of Huntley.
okay, well, that's who we got. Okay.
Mike,
Oh,
Clark, Village of Spring Grove. I think I'm saying the wrong spot.
Look at that, we have 100% attendance today. Thank you all for coming. This has been a long time
Big feet.
coming through this. I'll entertain a motion for approve the minutes from the last meeting.
So moved.
Larry Smith moves, Teresa Mesha seconds. Anybody have input? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Did we have any public comment down there? I don't think we did. See no public comment. I guess we do member comments down at the end. On our consent agenda, action items is to allow voting of alternate members. And in the past, we've never had this. We needed unanimous consent to allow alternates to be able to vote. So when the mayors weren't here, your alternate could vote in your place when they attended. So do I have a motion to allow that?
So moved. Second.
Okay.
Discussion.
Yes, Larry?
The red line that I'm reading talks about alternate members shall be non-voting unless authorized, so they're gonna get to vote. But I don't see anything in there about, like right now we have a member here from the city and their alternate. It doesn't, they say one or the other votes. The way this is written, they both could vote if they're at the meeting. Or am I reading it wrong? I'm looking at Adam behind you.
Yeah, I'm
guys.
going, scanning through. And before I speak on it, how's that?
That's a good point.
Larry, I should say that these were the changes from the very last meeting.
Okay.
So I didn't see a record that it actually went through and it was approved.
It did
So-
not.
Oh, it was not approved.
It was not
I
approved.
understand.
Right. So the red line is the changes in reaction to what happened last time to get the alternates voting, so.
I just think there should be something in there, unless I'm not reading it correctly, that
I
would
just wanted to
specifically say
clarify.
one or the other votes. Not
Sure. Yeah, so it's a vote per representative of that district as opposed to a vote. Are you protecting against a vote from the member and the alternate?
Yeah, so we'll just add that in there, that one vote per district or something, is that what you're saying? Or you think it reads fine the way
So
it is?
I think, well, how's this? If we want to be clear, it's always good to be clear. I think with what this will say is it ties back to the state statute, which talks about that municipal member and the mayoral member. And then that alternate member is very specifically, they're specified, and then their powers are specified. So if we want to be more deliberate in this, it would mimic what those powers would be based on this vote. But if, yeah, we can do that. We can work on that language as much as we can.
So Larry, do you want to just say, move to add that language, and then Adam can add that to it?
Yeah, do we need a motion on that? You want a motion on that?
I would like a motion
Okay,
on that.
I'm gonna amend that, section 2, alternate members paragraph to specify that there'd be one vote per district,
Representative.
per representative, maybe that, yeah, one vote per representative.
You can do it by SMC district too, if that's easier.
Pardon?
We can do it by district.
One vote per district.
Well,
One
is
vote
it
per
two
district.
votes?
One vote per district.
The municipalities
For
wouldn't be,
municipalities.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
one
municipalities.
Yes.
One vote per district, because then that would,
we're in districts, the county
Yeah,
board members, but the
right, you'll end up
municipalities
having-
are not.
Right, exactly. You'll have a mix of districts, by definition. You'll have the vote, you'll have the county board member districts and the watershed districts. So if you have municipal representation specified in terms of that being the one vote, either the alternate or the mayor.
Because
Okay, I
the
think we're on
county
the
board
same
does not
page.
have alternates, correct?
Correct.
no.
So it'd just be then on the municipality side,
Right,
So per municipality.
per municipality, one vote per.
and that's easy, just put that on there.
We're all on the same page.
All right,
Adam,
we're
we
on
got
the
the
same,
language.
Adam, you got that?
Got it.
Okay, is there any other discussion on that? I'm gonna do a voice vote on that. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? And Mike Turner said aye? Okay, so there's our unanimous vote. We're done with that finally after 2 years. Thank you for coming. Okay, now I guess we move on to election of officers. I'll open nominations for chairman.
Thank you. Would
I'll
you like to be
nominate-
nominated for chairman again?
I would do it this time.
You nominated them, I'm seconding it.
I'll second, third.
Municipalities, any nominations?
Jim would be good. I think you're doing
All
good.
right. A motion to close the nominations then?
So moved.
By unanimous consent, I'll be chairman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? John?
I'm not opposed.
Okay, nominations, open nominations for vice chairman. Any nominations?
I'll nominate Tim Huff.
Any second for that?
I'll second that.
John Reinhardt seconds that. Anyone else would like to be nominated? Okay, then I move to close nominations. All those in favor of closing that nomination, say aye.
Aye.
And approve Tim Huff as the vice chairman by unanimous consent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have our chairman. Okay, so now our discussion of our bylaw amendments. We'll open that up with the draft bylaws. Have any of you, do you need that, or can we put that up on the screen?
So do I have control of that?
What do you need?
The bylaws.
The bylaws, just so that we can open discussion, everybody can see the red
They're on the
lines.
agenda, Greg, they're on the agenda, Greg?
They are on the agenda, yes.
I don't have the agenda on my
This one, okay.
email at all.
So open the agenda.
It's on the meeting portal, Ben.
It's on the portal.
Yeah.
The agenda. The bylaw. That's an attachment.
Did you see anything else in there?
So in the meeting portal, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple things, I guess, sure.
We'll wait till they get that up there, and then we'll
Yeah.
I just,
You know, this is something new that I found when I was going into a meeting last night, I had the same problem.
Can I
Came
just
into
go
that.
back here?
I was listening yesterday. Had to go
Yeah,
to
you're all
the
over it.
room to get into it.
Oh,
Yeah. I was trying to get into
thank you.
that meeting yesterday.
Right, yeah, I could, my phone, come through my phone, I could not get to the meeting portal.
I know.
But when I got here, Greg said it was still working on laptops and like desktops. No, it wasn't.
It's working on mobile devices now.
No, yeah, no, Jim was saying yesterday, he tried to get into the,
Yeah.
I finally got into it, but I had to play around a lot to get into it.
yeah.
Bear with us, give us a second here, and that way everybody can see the minutes, or the amendments.
Awkwardly.
We didn't miss anything though from the meeting yesterday, Jim. We didn't start it, we waited for you.
Certain page?
Yeah, that's the page it starts on Audrey.
Okay,
So when we
Yeah, that was
go
actually
to
something.
certain pages, just scroll to it, I guess.
okay.
I'm glad I listened to that, that was important.
Yeah.
Can everybody see?
Well, we've got a remote person that can't see because you're not sharing the screen.
Oh.
So you need to go back to
once here, but I don't
Teams.
know.
I have one, do you want one?
That's the only
Share.
thing that I didn't.
It is actually,
It might,
Say share screen.
it's on the agenda.
Okay.
maybe I just didn't scroll down for, oh, there it is.
Okay.
You're good.
Can I minimize that? Okay, so, there's some discussing.
Okay,
We'll go to the page.
so I got the red line out.
Yeah, it's on the first page, so if we scroll down, first red lines, I think, are on page.
Okay, so let's open up discussion on that. And anyone have any discussion on the red line changes to that? I know Larry,
I do, but if somebody else wants to go first.
go ahead, Larry, we'll start with you.
Okay, and back to the alternate members. I have a list of alternate members, obviously a lot of you are here. I guess all of you are. Are we talking, when we say alternate members, are we referring specifically to this list? Or anybody that the member appoints that would come here?
I think it's specific.
Yeah, if you're looking at.
On the ballot, it was specific on our end.
Yes, because you had to vote on it.
Because we had to vote on who our representative would be and the alternate.
Larry, we sent out a sheet to have everybody fill out, I'm the primary, here's my alternate, and sign off on it, so it would be specific to
the
these
list that's
names on the list.
Okay.
Is there a provision if you make a change, for instance? We want
Well,
to make,
that's what I was wondering, if somebody moves on, you bring a new
Right.
person in, do we gotta vote them in?
how do we do that procedure?
So we have
I
to
mean,
leave
should
that
it
up
just
to
be
the-
up to the, like,
I think it'd probably
I
be,
represent the village of Spring Grove, and if I want to change the member, let the commission know that the member has changed, either in a formal type email, or do we have to come to a meeting and get it voted upon? I think it doesn't really need to be voted upon, but the main thing is to have a rep, and you know that rep's name, email, contact.
Tim?
yeah. I think it should be, I think the member should let the commission know there's gonna be a change due to whatever the circumstance may be. And then like in my organization, I know who would be the next best suited for what we're discussing here, rather than having, you know, the commission here decide who the next alternate's gonna be, not knowing the history of the background of who could be serving. So I think that should be left up to the mayor and the municipalities to serve best in that capacity, but to still let the commission know that there's gonna be a change and it's not just on a whim.
So what if we just, like what you're all saying, we don't have to bring that back to a vote, or do we? We don't have to bring it to a vote, once we voted today.
Correct, yeah, so you have the authority to have alternate members.
Right.
Be voting members.
And the municipality, each individually, they don't have to vote again. They could each, if an employment change or something, they could just notify in an email
Just point at will.
to Stoya.
I'll say as
Are
far as
you
I
okay
know,
with
through the
that, or-
state statute, it doesn't specify that, it stops at the language talking about how an alternate member becomes a voting member. So it wouldn't specify that it have to do anything additional. Now, if a municipality has some sort of protocols to substitute such representatives, that would be up to them. As you mentioned a little bit of resolution.
So there, are you asking to put in a sentence that the municipality would notify the department that there was a change?
I think it's
Or
fine.
do we need to not do anything?
It doesn't
We could
bother me
just
if
do it.
whoever they want to send us, it's fine with me.
Well, they should work for that municipality though, don't they? I mean, if somebody from Huntley wanted to bring somebody in from Belvedere, would we be making a mistake there? Shouldn't it
I
be from
think it
Huntley?
has to be from the municipality.
Shouldn't that be spelled out, because it's not?
Yeah, I think,
But
I agree
doesn't
with
it
John,
go-
that there should be something.
Doesn't it go
Consulting
hand,
engineer.
right, doesn't that go hand in hand though with the election by the members of, like, we had Lakewood, Huntley, and Lake in the Hills was our district to decide who was the member. And the alternates were all listed on that. It was unanimous that whoever was the member was the alternate was from that same municipality.
So, do we need to even put in writing whether or not the municipality could just appoint their person?
I think it's kind of a given with the election,
I don't
who
think
the
so.
representative is.
It makes no difference.
I think by statute, it has to be from that district.
Okay, all right, so that was, okay, that takes care of that one.
Would there be a time frame on it? I mean, within 30 days or as far as notification and so on? I don't want to get complicated.
I think we'd be just, let's not overcomplicate it, and as long as you notify us before the next meeting, which are every 2 months.
Okay, all right.
And if you don't have an alternate in place as the mayor, you better be at that meeting so you're represented.
Right,
Right.
And it's just priorities in my
Right.
opinion there.
because in the future of this term, we won't have anything that requires unanimous consent any longer, right?
Correct.
Okay. So since that's the case, if you don't do your job, you lose your representation of getting those folks here. So you would lose your representation at that meeting.
If you
So,
couldn't be here as the mayor yourself.
yeah. Okay. Everybody's okay with that? Okay. Larry, you said you had more than one thing though.
Yeah, just reading that section 2 where it talks about the alternate members or non-voting members unless authorized to vote by, so we did that. So we're gonna change that language to say that the alternate members are voting members?
In the absence of the mayor.
Alternate members shall be non-voting members. As authorized.
By unanimous consent, which is what we did.
So the authorization,
So in the bylaws, it should read that all the members are voting members.
Unless this is only works for our term, and when this term is up, then in 2 years, everybody has to come back and do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is exactly it. It's a 2-year term frame,
Right.
time frame for each term.
and you've already covered that when you said only one per
Okay.
municipality.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So we're good for the next 2 years on what we just did today. So that language would stay in there for the next term, kind of thing, okay? And then the only other thing I had was that on the county members portion, appointed by the chairman, is this gonna go through some committee, like P&D, or if somebody was gonna be on the Stormwater Management Commission?
Chairman appoints the stormwater
Yeah,
commission.
but isn't gonna, typically it would go through a committee.
But I mean, this went through committee, like at the same time that we agreed to committee, the same time we agreed to our committee assignments, we agreed to this. So a year ago,
We voted as a board on all the
in
committee
January,
assignments.
in December of 2022,
22.
thank you. I'm like, I should know what year I'm in, but yes.
It's
December
been
22.
quick.
Okay,
Yes.
yep, got it.
Okay.
Yep, good with that. That's it.
That's it for
For
you?
me.
Anybody else on those? Because there were some things that were totally eliminated. So, which we eliminated the officers, the secretary and the treasurer here.
In certain circumstances, right now it says no proxy votes or absentee voting shall be permitted. But we have a video conference things have changed, is that gonna be allowed, or, today we allowed it, but according to this, we can't allow it in the future.
Where are you reading that? What
That
paragraph?
is on page 5 of 15 at the top.
Is that considered, is video considered a proxy vote? I'm asking everybody that. If we always, on our county, we always have to make a motion to allow those members in who attend remotely. And that was partly started because of the COVID situation.
Well, it's the same with our board, if we're gonna have somebody that's attending remote, but they have to be attending remote due to a work-related situation, they can't be on vacation.
Okay.
Kind of
It just, as
pre-approved.
long as it's approved at, you know, like what you had done was motion to allow Mike Turner to attend remotely.
Okay.
Same with Crystal Lake.
And then they're there. to
So we
just
don't
like-
need to
you don't
change
need
any
to
wording
change
here?
that, yeah.
Or would you like to change any word?
Well, I think when we're talking about the proxy votes, it's like, well, I'm gonna tell Tim Huff, this is the way I wanna vote. You can't do that.
No, and I agree, that's not the way to do that. Okay. So we're okay on that one? Okay. Anything else?
Just one question, comment for the group. Under alternate members, you know, to allow the alternate members to vote, it has to be a unanimous consent of all duly appointed commission members. Knowing how difficult that has been over the last several years, would we want to consider, and I don't know if we can by state statute, consider to make it 2/3 of the unanimous members? And like, I don't know if that state statute has to be unanimous or not, so.
Yeah, it does, it's specific in that, it's very specific.
No.
I'm
And I agree,
2
this
years
is the
ahead
most
thinking.
ridiculous thing I've ever
We
seen.
tried
2 years,
twisting
it
that
may
a
be
lot.
difficult to get
Have everybody here.
together for.
Do we have to do that every 2 years, or can we have that set that we've set that?
Well, we just changed the bylaws.
We just changed the
Didn't have to
bylaws, so
vote
they
it.
shouldn't have to be changed unless they get changed again. That should be the bylaws, correct?
I thought
Unless
it
we
was-
change it in the
I thought it was
bylaws,
stated in
we
2
become-
years that we had to do this again with all members, that all mayors would
That's
have
what
to
it
vote
sounded
again in
like.
2 years, I thought. That's why I asked.
Where does it state that? Is it in the state law?
It's in the state statute, yeah, I'm scanning for it right now, where exactly it is. But, we're good now, we'll get clarification from our state's attorney on that to verify that would indeed be it. But going back to the previous interpretation or opinion from them that got us here, we believe that is the case, that once this commission is reformed in 2 years, or a year, whatever, that it would have to have the same action to appoint its alternate members. But we'll get clarification on that.
Well, regarding the state statutes, we can only be more restrictive, we can't be less.
So right now, that would be every May every 2 years. Starting with May of 2023, is that correct?
Correct. So the next voting cycle would be May 2025.
After the other
That goes
And
with all
that's
the
in the,
elections.
that's in the bylaws, so if there's.
When are your municipal elections?
2025.
Some of it's
Are
2025.
they April?
Yeah, so we're taking office in May, middle of May.
Okay, so that's where it comes in May.
Yeah. But we're not all in the same cycle every 4 years. Some of us are, because, you just went this last year, right?
2 years on council, 4 years on mayor.
The board is every even year, right? Every even year.
Oh, no.
So our board members would change in January of
It's 4.
2025. We
Yeah.
would not have
But it's
board
staggered.
members.
Right.
But
It's
your
4.
staggered is off from ours because you just got your 4-year term.
Because I think 5 of the 6 of us are up for
Right, we
election
are,
in
yeah.
December of '24. So our election is in May, or is our election of officers going to be, and members going to be in January? How do we handle that?
Yeah, we may be staggered, and that's where the appointment comes from the chair and the committee assignments.
Is it 2 years from now?
Next January.
Say January
So that would
25.
be, yeah, end up having staggered votes, you end up having staggered appointments.
Because you guys take office in January?
January, or
And we take
December of
office in May.
'24. Our meeting would be in January always. So, want to cross that road when we get to it?
Everybody just stay put and we won't have any problems.
Easy
Sure,
for you to
if
say.
everybody's There are 5 of us in this commission that are up for election. So it could be 5 different
Yeah, I say cross that bridge when we get to it.
And the chairman is up, the chairman actually would reappoint us. It's gonna change anyway, January of 25. Regardless, it's gonna change. So, okay, cross that bridge when we get to it.
Jim, it looks like section 6 kind of covers what we're talking about, unless I'm reading it wrong. Talks about every year after, and it also talks about if, like, say that I'm stepping down, we need 2/3 vote to replace me with somebody else. Or something in the bylaws there.
Okay, so we'll be covered then.
The question is, when does it start? November, or like the dates you talked about? Or is it from today forward? Because we just voted on everybody today, so every other year, 2 years from now, we back at this date have to vote again.
In our bylaws, and it might be good to have it in the middle, when nobody's up for election, then you've already filled all your positions. That's a good point. You want to put it in there, a specific date, October or November of each year? October?
I think since you voted on it today, we all became members, so it's according to this rule, 2 years from now, we're gonna have to do it again. So October.
October of 25, 26.
To say that's a good timing.
Because the new appointments will come in for the board members. Those new appointments will come in and they just assume our positions.
And then
And you don't have to vote on anything at that point.
to accept those new members, you need 2/3 of a vote. So you don't need the whole consent, you just need 2/3 of a vote. So let's just say that Carl resigns next week or next month. So next time we meet, we would have Carl's replacement and 2/3 of us would vote him, that replacement in, and not everybody.
Is that true for the county board member
I
side?
think that part's only, section 6 is only for the officers, only for,
Oh,
Chair and
selection of
vice chair.
officers, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't see the officer part.
I think we're splitting hairs here.
Yeah.
And then I just thought of something quick. We were going back to what happens if, in January there's a new chair, but it hasn't been voted on by this commission. Wouldn't it make sense then that, so maybe the vice chair would run the meetings from January to May when there is that election of new officers?
I always understood our elections took place in January, just because of that. The election of officers. And that's annual.
That's, you say it's annual?
it does say annual in here.
I always thought that was annual.
Once every year.
Well, then we could do that, so we just did it'll last till the end of December, then January we'll do it again.
Yeah. That's
And then we're
annual.
covered.
In that case, yeah. Yeah.
So elect officers every year, calendar year, and then it doesn't matter what the election cycle is for either the municipalities or county board.
Okay. So we're covered there. I want to ask one last question before we. Who made the motion on this?
I think I did, but I'm not positive.
Who made the motion on this?
Yeah, Larry.
This Larry? Okay.
What, are we gonna change the language then in that section 6 from November to January? Or,
That would make more sense to me. And then that's also kind of what I heard from Jim too, that it would be
Okay.
January 06, and then once a year.
if we're gonna vote in January, that language should be changed, right?
Yeah, and that pushes our chairman to get his appointments made too, right away in December, which he's been pretty good about this one.
Okay. I guess,
In the past, we've drug on appointments sometimes.
Right.
And it really pushes for them to get it done because of bylaws and everything.
Maybe I'll change my motion to, I make a motion to accept the bylaws as amended, since we're changing things.
And who was the second on that?
I'm not sure how to say.
Yep.
Yeah, Tim, I was just changing it to, the motion to be as amended, with the changes we're making.
Yep. So I'll second that as amended.
Okay. Do we have any other changes or discussion on this right now? Okay, then let's go to vote. And this has to be unanimous, I believe. Am I correct? We need a unanimous vote on this?
To do the bylaws, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna start off with Mr. Huff,
Aye.
Mr. Eisenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Jett,
Yes.
Halbley.
Getting close.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Koenig?
Kalnick,
Kalnick?
yes.
Yes? Okay. Ms. Van Bergen?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Mr. Reiner?
Yes.
Ms. Meshes?
Yes.
And Mr. Turner, how would you vote?
Mr. Turner left the meeting. Jim?
Alternate.
Actually,
Alternate. Yes.
I'm calling him up right now.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, it takes a majority, by the way, he just pulled that up.
Just a simple majority?
Simple majority,
That
okay.
works.
Either way, we're done.
Here we covered. All
You
right.
vote yes?
We were just testing
What's that?
ourselves.
I voted yes. So after 2 years, we've been able to accomplish that. Thank you all.
Progress, government.
Yeah. Bureaucracy. Now, I'd like to ask one question of our members right now, is how many of you are going to appoint, I'm just putting this out for a question, how many of the alternates are going to be here in the future meetings that, instead of our members? That,
There's a good chance that Mike will be, I'm gonna try to attend them, but if I can't, he will attend. And if we both can be here, we're both gonna be here, so we learn together.
okay,
Learn together, discuss together.
so you're all pretty much set then that way. Okay, I just wanted to ask that question because in the past, it's always been,
But
Never
I
do.
still work full-time, so it's
right.
split.
Okay, that's good to know that. So, what do we need to move down on? Do you have a presentation of the maps or anything that you wanted to do?
Well, it was, I included them in here because this was what was essentially done last time, and the elections were based on these. So I wasn't sure how many of the newer members had seen these maps, or even county board members that weren't a part of it had seen these maps, so I thought it would just be a good idea to go through them real quick, and if there's any discussion or, you know, any items that come up, and I'll be honest, Joanna was the one that had kind of worked on most of these before me, so if there's any concerns, you know, moving into the next cycle or any commentary, anything like that, it was more so just to provide them for everyone for reference.
Okay.
To see if anybody had any questions on it or anything like that.
All right, so if you looked it up on the, do any of you need copies of those? That they can get them to you if you need them? Okay, then we don't need those. Same with the district maps, county board districts. You had a question on, Tracy, before the meeting on population spreadsheet. Were you asking a question on that?
I didn't see it, but now it looks like, is that what's below the maps? The next slide?
It's on the end,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And then I highlighted on there the winners from the election, just for reference.
Can you, those two maps appear to be different to me. Can you explain the difference? It's just a color rendering, and I'm not getting it, but
Yes,
District 4 is the one that we're representing. It shows Woodstock in one of them, and the other one, it shows Woodstock out of it. So in the, for instance, the bottom one, there's no Woodstock, but on the top one, it shows Woodstock. Was that like a before and after, it was modified, or? I guess I don't understand the two maps.
yeah,
That was for county board members. That's why it was modified, because of our districts were so oddly,
Okay.
so that we could get a board member in each district.
I think that bottom map shows the county board districts.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what they mean.
I think that was the intention of that.
Yeah, I think it shows it in that little color scale, the pink was the county board districts.
Right, it gets difficult for
it's
me.
hard to see, I didn't
The
have
second
the
map.
best map available to represent that, but essentially, yes, it's,
Frozen.
goes from one to the other, trying to
I understand now.
combine the
Yep.
two.
Well,
yeah.
that's, at first notice, that's what it was like, but I don't think,
So there had to be two maps, specifically because of the county board districts being,
there.
to get a 6 out of 9 districts. That's why that second map is there.
There's Harvard, 73.
Would you agree, Adam? Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. So we're down to meeting dates. Can you pull that meeting date up there, future meeting dates? And I had some other discussions when we get to,
This has got to be going.
so our next meeting will be January 25th. If we, we're gonna have to vote on this meeting dates to accept them, right?
You want a motion, Jim, to accept these dates and then we can have some discussion?
Yes.
I'd move to accept the dates as are written in our book. You guys have the, oh, they're right there, okay. I'll
Okay,
second.
Carl Kaminsky seconds it. Okay, now we can have discussion about it.
My
Does
discussion-
anybody have a problem with this set of dates?
My discussion would be the starting time, and if everybody likes 8:15, it's not a problem for me. We got used to the 8:30 time at the county board meeting, or committee meetings.
Now, I'll leave that over the municipalities. Where's your concern? Is 8:15, 8:30, 9:30? What works best for you guys?
5:30.
Okay.
Not PM, Tim.
Are you saying I or AM?
I'm saying AM.
Oh my gosh.
When we have a problem with the quorum.
I think 8:30 works.
8:30. Yeah.
8:30.
for us.
We have to travel, it's half hour.
I know Ross would like 9, usually doesn't start till about 9. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I do have two conflicts with two dates where I have PHCS.
Which dates are those?
March 28 and September 26. But I do have a vice chair, so.
Although I won't be in the state on the 28th, and I have in the past had a hard time with my technology connection. Why not?
Well,
I'm remote.
I guess one of the things, one of the issues is not that we don't no longer need a unanimous any longer. So if there are meetings that people would have to miss, as long as we had the quorum, which is 7, we would be okay to conduct business.
As long as you're here March 28th, Jim, I'm good, because we're gonna be gone.
Okay.
And if we need a quorum, I will be in the building and have
Right.
vice chair.
Yeah, because you're in the room next door.
Actually, Actually, this
I've had to
is
do
usually
that
my
in the
meeting.
past.
This is usually my room.
We'll be over there then.
So we're gonna do 8:30?
8:30 is fine with me, so we're gonna amend, Larry will amend that to 8:30.
Yeah.
Carl, you've seconded the friendly amendment?
Yeah.
Okay.
And somebody sent out the invites.
Stoy will always do that part for you. And we send that out to all the alternates at the same time,
That'd be great.
just in case,
Let me put it on.
so they all know it.
Get those out.
Okay. So, by our bylaws, oh no, that's 24. By our bylaws, annual elections that we just did, are we gonna do the elections at the next meeting again? Do we have to do that?
Once every year.
Because we never held election for 23.
Suffice for last year.
Okay. So in January, we'll just do it again, it's real quick for you. Okay, now, so let's just do that. All those in favor of the amended schedule? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so as amended, 8:30 are our times. Okay, now we're down to this is the one that I have questions on. The Tech Advisory Committee membership. If you look at that page on the term ending, since we haven't met in 23 yet, the 2022, we have a lot of members that have ended. How are we gonna handle this? Go ahead, I'm looking at you.
Well, it would be approved by the commission, so we would have to hold interviews for people that want to join. And essentially, whoever wants to can do so. And then the commission would be saying yes or no to those individuals.
So we're essentially saying with this, that their term ended in 22. We're essentially saying that 50% of that tech committee is no longer on that committee, right?
Terms expired. Correct.
So we probably should have a meeting before January and get those members, have put that out. We have time to do that.
We do. Yeah, and advertise, I mean, that would be just it, would be, I think you'd go through admin, the commission to advertise those again, I believe. I could be wrong too. I believe we'll have to go through and hold those interviews.
Now,
Are those 2 years?
being on this, I gotta say, I've never on this commission been involved in an interview for those.
No?
So that's my question of
Okay.
who conducts those interviews, or is that an appointment by the chairman?
I don't know. I would say it is under the purview of planning and development, so that planning and development would
Yeah, we would run those.
conduct interviews at the planning and development committee meetings. But I don't know if that's correct either, and that the municipalities are involved in this.
This is McHenry County Technical Advisory Committee.
Right, in the back,
Yeah, Jim, I'm the chairman, I'm Steve Bicking, from the TAC. So the way it was done previously was, I think Joanna just sent out a request for an interest in being part of the committee, and we sent resumes to Joanna, and I believe she made recommendations to your commission, and how that worked, and then somehow it was voted on as to who the members were. But there weren't any formal interviews.
what she did.
So the
All right,
TAC
thanks.
member shall be appointed by the MCSC chairman with the advice and consent of the MCSC. That's what the TAC bylaws state, so what that.
So I'm supposed to appoint these?
What it says.
I think Joanna always just did this. And
With our consent, though.
So is there any parameters? Looking at the list, there's no parameters that they gotta be from the county, but there again, is it some an engineering firm that works with one of the municipalities could be
I'll
eligible, or how does
defer
that
back
work?
to you.
It was done originally when the first TAC was formed, so it wasn't even Joanna that did this. I think it was just perpetual. Some engineering firms may have fallen off, and some may have been added, but since the inception of the TAC, it's been essentially this grouping. So
Okay,
people-
we did vote on new members, though, I do remember.
Right, every couple of years, there's a new member, new people drop and are added within the companies and within the organizations like McHenry County Stormwater, MCDOT, people are coming in and going out, but then it's voted on each year.
All right, so Adam, I'm gonna ask this question, is it necessary to get this done in that committee? Is there something in that committee that has to be done before January? You guys can just bring it to the January meeting?
Yeah, before January, I don't think so. I don't think so. And that would give us time to contact these folks and any additional items or changes in the meantime to make sure that they're
Okay,
resumes polished.
especially since we're not having a meeting before January.
I'd say something.
Go
Just,
ahead.
someone made a comment about the TAC members being from the county. The bylaws say that the representatives shall be from various groups, and you'd potentially want to include federal, state, local, municipal, so environmental, community, so that potentially means it doesn't have to be, but I think that's where the consent portion would come into play if there was a strong feeling against somebody.
So, okay, so let's leave it at that we're gonna gather names for our January meeting. And then you'll share that with me this time.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And if you guys have any suggestions of members, let us know. Okay. Miscellaneous items.
Well, I'm noticing we have asterisks by Joyce DeLong and Kathy Charnick that they haven't been approved yet for the technical advisory committee. So do we need to approve them?
We'll do them all in January.
Okay.
I'll make that call. We'll do them all together, since they're not gonna meet between now and January.
Keep it all. in the
Keep
same.
it up.
Yeah, let's do it just one time, because we actually don't have it on here to vote on. To know if they're still, I know Joyce is still in there, but. Okay. So, any miscellaneous items, I think you wanted to talk about, EPA or something like that?
Well, I just, we haven't met in some time, so we are gonna have some things coming down the pipeline. One of the big ones, that's gonna encompass a lot of components that we're looking to update. And maybe you're not aware that we have one, is the McHenry County Comprehensive Stormwater Management Plan. It was written in 1996, has not been updated since. So we're looking to take a hard look at that and potentially start an update on that. But the idea would be we kind of share that information with you so you can get an idea of what it looks like to drive that. But other than that, we have an updated floodplain study for the Nippersink area that's being finalized. Once that's completed, which I think they were targeting maybe sometime in November, we need to amend the SMO to reflect those new floodplain maps. I'll take a look at the timeline. I think the January schedule should be fine, or maybe even March, depending on the time frame that we have to make those amendments. So other than that, we'll probably at the next January meeting have some more updates and reports for all of you on some of the other items, but those are kind of the two big ones right now.
So the stormwater management ordinance, that it hasn't been updated, I think we did some amendments a couple years ago.
Comp plan different,
Yes,
just to clarify.
right, and in '24, I really would like to accomplish that as this commission, to work through that update, because that's got to go through a number of organizations. It's not something we can just meet in a meeting and change it. It's got to go through P&D, or P&E they call it now, and it's got to go through a bunch of them.
It would, I mean, this is meant to encompass everything, so not just the stormwater management ordinance that sets minimum standards for permitting. This would include, you know, we might have a lot of this information already. We have the Water Resources Action Plan, water quality components, you know, watershed. We can rope in drainage districts, how all of this is gonna fit together for better stormwater management. That's really the idea here. So it goes beyond just SMO elements, although that can influence SMO amendments. It can influence other components. I know we just had the 2050 comp plan going on as well. So maybe that can be an idea to think about that far ahead in terms of our water resources, water quality, how we're handling stormwater and all of that.
Teresa, I know you were at that meeting
And yes,
on the 2050 plan.
right.
Is anybody on that commission or that committee that's doing that, that's here? These would be the ones I'd ask. When, did they say when they planned on having the final vote on that?
So they did not say when they're planning for the final vote, but they were really hoping to get the townships to come in and give them some comments. And so today is another opportunity for the townships to come in and talk to them. And I think that then they have another meeting, a voting meeting, the committee.
Have they been through all the municipalities?
Well, so they invited all the municipalities and all the township, the elected municipality members, the elected township members, and of course all the county board members. And they're hoping to get more input, but yesterday's meeting only had one township individual was there, and then the 2 county board members, and then two members from the regional plan committee. But there's another meeting today at 3 p.m. So here.
It's gonna be awesome.
And you could call in.
There'll be donuts.
Now there will be.
Yes. So they really would like to have more input, but I think they're having a hard time getting the input.
So, okay, so there's an opportunity for municipalities, if you haven't already participated in that, 3 o'clock today. That was here yesterday.
Yes.
Is it gonna be here today?
Yes.
And plus they can call in, there's a link, because that's what I did.
Who sends out that email? The invitation?
So I'm trying to think, how did we get this email? Who sent us the email?
They sent it to us,
Is it admin? Send
Right.
that to you guys?
From here, right? It came from the county?
I might have seen something. I don't know if Shaylin sent something out. It was a while back.
I don't remember, it's not.
You're saying you don't have an email?
No.
I don't recall getting a lot of information about that.
True. I mean, yesterday when I was talking to McCog, I was sitting next to a mayor, who's not here now, who said she did not remember getting an email about this.
So you must have been talking to Deb.
Adam? No, we're gonna let you troubleshoot that, because right now it's 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
You could have talked to Wayne, but Wayne didn't show up.
Wow. It looks like there's a second meeting at 6 o'clock tonight too? Is that,
Yes, that's their committee meeting, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So frankly, I'm surprised that, I'm glad we talked about this.
Mark, you haven't got anything?
I don't.
Wayne? Nothing. You can't go if you're not invited.
Right.
Yeah, frankly, I'm surprised.
I know I've seen something somewhere, but I've been involved in the bike stuff and all that. I don't know what plan it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
Unless it went to our village manager.
so we're gonna leave Adam to be the heavy hand here and find out why and figure out how to get a meeting set up for you guys to participate in if you can't make today.
I'm searching just for 2050.
Right, Adam?
Yes,
I'm trying to think when.
I don't
Okay,
we will, absolutely.
so let's do it that way.
see that.
Let Adam coordinate that for all of us, for you guys.
Maybe if you could send it out in a smaller group, that it's just maybe just the
Just the
mayors are
mayors.
getting it. in McHenry County, I think you might get, and then coordinate with Shaylin. Shaylin is,
Yeah.
the go-to.
Right.
And maybe that's their next step, was to go to the mayors and municipalities, I don't know. So, we'll get to the bottom.
Or something like that, video conference is really good, because we can just jump right in and then go back to doing what we're doing and not have to figure out how to.
Yesterday, that worked great.
You know?
And you
At
could
least
see,
From my standpoint.
For the 2020.
you could see everything except for it was a little small on the screen to see the maps.
Maybe we can have a redo if we miss it.
Philip Brown, maybe.
So,
If it's video, if it's.
That was, that's not it.
hey, I don't think it'll ever get approved if the municipalities haven't had any say in it, so
It's gonna be a tough.
it'd be a tough sell. So, we'll open this up to get that done. All right, member comments and future topics. I've already said mine, that I really would like to focus on updating our stormwater ordinance, you know, the county one. That's one of the focuses. I'd like to have a topic in each meeting. And I know that your tech committee is also very active in that, right? That's what they've been in the past.
Yes, and if you want to send anything to them to review, comment on, provide feedback, you certainly can provide direction to them as well, just as much as we would be using them on anything really.
All right.
So yeah, getting that TAC going is a critical component.
Right, in
for
January,
more
we need to
feedback.
get that going. So, any members here, if you want any input of ideas of what you'd like to see addressed in the update UDOs or the stormwater, give us some ideas to what you want to discuss. And let's start that off in January and have that discussion of some ideas of what you'd like to see. And then I think we should involve the Farm Bureau also, and the municipalities, and of course the county board members. And
When again is the tech meeting?
they always had it right after us.
It's
Or
meant
was
to
it
be
before?
SMC 1 month, TAC the next SMC, TAC, so they alternate. So because you guys are doing the January, then theoretically, that would get approved, and we can have it in February with any direction that comes from this future discussion about anything that you guys want to see changed.
I would like to see a drainage district representative on the TAC committee.
Well, that'd be good.
Just email me if you have anyone, y'all, you have my email, if you have anyone, you know, send them to me, I'll compile a list, I'll get it back to you guys in January. You can
Okay. Anybody else? Any input? Larry?
Just looking at the 2050 plan, and there's several paragraphs about the water preservation. So for the comprehensive plan that you were talking about, I think there's a lot there that could be used.
That's what we felt, Larry, was we probably have a lot of the information at hand. We just went through submitting a grant for some money that we would potentially use to hire someone to write this thing and take all these different elements that we might already have and bring it together. So I don't think we're looking at mostly gathering all these various documents and bringing them together so it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they've got, objective 9, develop surface water quality, 10, develop countywide water conservation policies, so they've got 4 or 5 large paragraphs there.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? Then I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Larry, Carl seconds, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming. We need you all.
Pretty incredible.
No, what's hard is you haven't done this meeting for a year and a half.